set up. 1-1. Let's swap the spawn locations, and bam! Bob's your uncle. We're ready to go. Welcome back to game number 3. We're sorry about the downtime between game 2 and 3, but hey, if you're watching on a VOD, not a problem. This is Rifkin, casting tonight with Doom. This is for the Red Bull New York City Battleground Qualifiers for North America. This is only the second qualifier. And guys, you can still sign up for qualifiers 3 and 4 that will be taking place this Saturday, this Sunday, on October's 26th and 27th. I'm not sure if that's real. We'll wait to see what happens. So, we're going to sit here awkwardly for 2 minutes and wait. I got a little ahead of myself getting excited for the game starting. Let's swap to the out of game screen while we wait. So, we are currently in game, guys. Some lag going on for both of these players. And hopefully, if it is, hopefully it's not the casters, first off. But if it is, I hope the guilty party gets on out of there.
Well,
out of paranoia, hang on, I'm going to check my connection. Nope, I'm good. Zero frames dropped for an almost like, what is it, like an 8-hour broadcast? Something insane like that. So come at me, world. Come at me, internets, with your lags. As we just are forced to awkwardly sit and wait.
I mean, we haven't lagged all night, and it's definitely not me.
Well, while we're waiting, let's talk up the finals. So it's going to be Apocalypse. He's sitting there waiting right now. He's Torpedo on the Brockets, formerly of Quantum Gaming, now on Ivy Drip. Apocalypse, waiting to play against the winner of these two. This is game 3, tied up 1-1, and whoever wins goes on to the finals. And I mean, that's where it all comes down. That's who gets to go to New York, or even a chance to New York City at the offline qualifier. But
who was that?
Axlav.
The big reveal.
Hopefully he actually, I think, is Axel Toss in here? Hopefully he is, so that they can still stream.
No, he's not.
Well, hopefully they don't. Hopefully they don't have to. Hopefully the lag isn't a real problem. But okay. Maybe that means we'll get into this.
We shall see.
I feel so bad for the stream right now too. Like, well, I feel bad for us because what are we supposed to tell them? Like, hey, you guys been waiting around for 10 minutes. Guess what? You get to wait for another couple more. But as soon as these guys resume, we'll be back in the screen. All right, go is called. So let's redo those introductions, I guess, because yeah, ladies and gentlemen, finally back in action. Game 3 for the semifinals of the New York City Red Bull Battlegrounds qualifiers for North America. I'm Rifkin. I'm casting tonight with Doom. And again, if you haven't signed up, if you're a Diamond player or higher on North America, go sign up for this Sunday, October 26th, October 27th, as they have their final 3 and 4 qualifiers. Well, I guess final 2, but qualifier number 3, qualifier number 4. But Doom, you want to introduce both these guys?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Belshire Vestige in red from the team Root Gaming, the Protoss player, it is State. And his opponent spawning in the southeastern corner of the map, tying up the series 1-1 in the last game. Can she bring it to victory in this game and take the series, moving on to the finals? We shall see. In yellow, the Zerg player, it is Acer Scarlett.
And I'm making sure we're actually on a game screen. Perfect. Okay, Scarlett gonna go with a pull first on Belshire. I can really get behind this. On Frost, you can afford that really greedy opening, and I gotta tell you, that greedy opening transitioned into the entire game when we saw like 7 bases being taken towards the end. But for now, gonna play it safe. Gonna play it on this very overly played map. And with Lings coming out quick, we'll have no problem fending off any sort of pylon harass, but that's not something State has proven he's wanted to do.
Kind of curious there. I sense a little bit of indecision from State. Looks like he wanted to drop that pylon out front, but deking the probe back into the main base. So I'm curious where we'll see him take it from here.
Scarlett coming out with 4 Lings. Gonna give her some great map control. Poking up into the base. Gonna be able to see a Wizard Fight to Gateway expand if the Overlord... Well, the Overlord sees no pylon down here, so probably already knows that's the case. As you typically don't Forge expand within your own base, unless you're the German player Nomi, who will open with a Gateway in base, followed up with a Forge, and then Cannon Rush later on. But aside from those weird offset things, you can expect someone like State to not be doing anything quite that crazy. And just by simply seeing what's in the front of the base, Scarlett doesn't need to scout the main.
She's definitely got it in her mind that State's capable of doing a couple different strategies. Of course, I'm sure she's probably thinking in her head, if State didn't pull off the Phoenix play in the second game, he's likely here to revert back to what he did initially in the first game.
Well, Ling's gonna try to get that pylon. Can't quite even get the shields down. Stalker could pursue this, but State doesn't know if this was an all-in or just a small little greedy attack.
And if he builds a third gateway, then this is going to look very similar to the opening that he deployed in the first game. But nothing coming down just quite yet to complete that wall.
Scouts the lack of a third too with that probe. Really important, knowing that Scarlett didn't go for that greedy opening. I mean, he could probably have predicted that with the Lings already in the field, but there's always a chance that she had cut drones at some point, done something, again, crazy and ridiculous is what you expect top-notch players to pull off, because standard is expected, and what is expected usually loses.
To be completely honest here, Rifkin, I'm expecting the same exact build out of State that we saw in the first game. Not sure if he'll go as far as to do the same Warp Prism play that we saw, but there is a robotics facility going down the main base, basically just doing a 4-gate expansion here at this point. No second, third, and fourth gases have been taken just quite yet. So this is signaling to me once again, this could be very heavy aggression.
Why did the first blood sound not play? Gosh darn it. We'll try to get that fixed up for future games. Just that the random flash of red is going to be awkward for people who've never seen our first blood before, but Scarlett on... Well, I was going to say, she's playing really hard on 2 bases right now. This is really interesting.
She's being very diligent, though, about trying to scout out where a proxy pylon could be placed, and she just hasn't seen where the first one's going down. She is going to see the second one, so this is going to tip her off that aggression maybe incoming, and, well, what do you know? Speak the devil, Rifkin. The Warp Prism is on the way here for State.
I like that he keeps doing this, though. He knows how difficult it's going to be to get pylons up versus Scarlett. She's all over the map constantly and consistently with her Lings. He's putting them down in locations that can be predicted, and as seen, she's taken out 2 pylons so far. Well, 1 pylon. The other one still stands up here, but this Zealot push was really strong earlier today. I don't know if it'll find the same results now. It is going to get on top of these queens, though. Ling's a little opposition, of course, metabolic boost so far away. However, fighting on creep, Lings don't necessarily need that metabolic boost. Always better, of course.
Mothership Corps going to join up with the Army. Warp Prism now going to join as well. First Sentry going to be warped in, and if I'm not mistaken, this could signal once again that he's going to drop into the main base and attempt to force field off that ramp. Will Scarlett be prepared in this regard? She's got a Spine Crawler down at the natural. Nothing in the main base just quite yet. Going right up to that lair tech as soon as she can. +1/+1 has just been started for Scarlett as well. Behind this, State is making Immortals back at home.
Couple of Zealots getting sort of segmented out here. 4 Queens going to keep the Mothership Core back, but here comes the Warp Prism. Scarlett's ready for it, though. Not going to risk anything. Has Lings in the main. Knows that he can't push through the natural. Doesn't need to overreact. Doesn't need to keep too much dedicated elsewhere. And, oh, the drone wanted the third, but that's not going to happen. Not just yet, at least.
You're going to have to watch and see if State's going to try to press the issue here, or if he's going to try to transition out of this. Back at home, he's adding on 2 more gateways, so that's going to put him up to 6 in total.
A good recall goes off. This is something we've not actually seen State utilize to the best of his capabilities in any game so far, and he keeps a lot of those Zealots alive. Suddenly, instead of losing 6, he's only lost 2.
1 force field in the main is not going to last forever, though, as the Warp Prism is under assault by those queens. Zealots are going to get in the middle line, but it doesn't look like they're going to actually take on our drones as the Zerglings have gotten in and cleaned them up easily.
1 single drone has fallen. Nothing too bad. And Scarlett, who's investing in our melee upgrades once again, should actually be pretty well suited to deal with this sort of mid-game competition. The problem is, though, for State, he's getting a lot of units that do great against single targets, but not against massive single target. There's no area of effect. There's no storms. There's no Colossus. And without the sentries, the Immortals are actually not that strong of pushers. They'll knock down the Spine Crawlers, which are going to be fantastic, as Scarlett is in fact getting, wow, like 6 more on the field after seeing the Immortals. However, the problem remains. If the Lings get us round off, she'll do a ton of damage, and ooh, there's actually nothing at home right now to shoot over this wall. These gateways may actually go down before State can reinforce. Will another recall be initiated? No, the Mothership Core is in fact dashing home to put in an overcharge, but
Trouble, Rifkin, trouble. First gateway gonna fall. Second one, third ones are definitely under assault
decent
as
force
well.
field, though.
A desperate force field.
While this is going on, though, he's pushing hard and finds so many Spine Crawlers and 6 Queens. State cannot push into this with what he has. The Spine Crawlers are just too plentiful. And while the gateways all got torn down, this full wall off, State retained everything. He didn't even lose any workers in that. But of course, this
elevator into the main base.
There's actually nothing as the Lings come back home. This army is very exposed. But yeah, an elevator up to the main may be the only course of action. He's got to get the Immortals up there. But okay, Zealot's going to dash on forward. Not even going to try and pick up the Immortals. Actually, the Zealots are going to be enough. The Queens can't break through those Zealot lines, and the Zerglings are not enough. The Warpins in the main can force field off once again. And he's
content to take that fight, and he's going to defend against it, and here he's going to be in a good position. Just elevate these units right into the main base.
He's got to get another force field.
Move here for Scarlett.
Oh, he doesn't get the force field, though it was focused by those Lings, and now all the Queens get up to the top of the ramp. And Transfuse Mania going off on that Spine Crawler. This should have been, like, game-endingly deadly, but State has still got to push through this. The Spine Crawler is coming up from the natural. Transfuse like crazy going off right now, Doom. This Queen will not die.
But this is an all-in from State. He's got 8 warp gates back at home. Continuously going to be warping his Zealots from here, but it's going to take those Immortals away. It doesn't look like he's able to make a move here, and Scarlett has repositioned her Spine Crawlers into the main base. She's continuing to make links, continue to defend. She's still got more Spine Crawlers than the natural. The third base essentially acting as a macro hatchet for her at this point. No drones mining from it. And she's just matching the Protoss blow for blow, saying, you want to go all in? Well, I'm just going to continue to defend against you.
The transfuses there were insane. That was one Queen that had about more lives than 15 cats put together. But third base now under assault. Big force fields go off, and like you said, this was more of a macro hatchery than anything else. So losing this isn't exactly devastating for Scarlett, but necessary for State. But he abandons the Immortals, and they are going to go down. They will not take out this hatchery. Queens are finally Doom out of energy.
Queen of the Transfuse. Oh my goodness. Scarlett, meanwhile, even with all this Transfuse risk, she's still got her creep spread going into the middle of the map. So diligent as always with that. And as these Zerglings are going to be flooding across the field, there's no hope for this third base for State.
No, he's absolutely going to have to cancel this or just take a big loss. He's already behind in a pretty big way. And what Scarlett has following this up is Infestors, which is actually kind of curious because massive Infested Terrans, she's not even going to really need the Fungals. Pairing this up with the Lings, there's just no way State without Colossus can deal with this. Coming up on Hive Tech 2 may even go as far as getting Ultras. But we got Blink. Oh no, Doom. We have Blink.
I was grossly mistaken before because I said that he was on 8 gates, but those 3 skates at the front for State were knocked down by Scarlett. So that push really never stood a chance. But now he's at full optimization off the 2 base, off of the appropriate gateways that he wants to actually be attacking off of. And with Blink Rifkin, maybe he can make his units more cost effective. But Scarlett's transitioning into a relatively normal game, pushing drones down to her 3rd base, and that's definitely going to be where State wants to attack from here.
I think Scarlett's really confident in her position in this game. After knocking down that 3rd base, we got an infestation pick coming up here. Hive's already finished,
one, though,
so
which is weird.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't. Maybe it's a misclick. Maybe it's cocky.
Caught in the moment, man.
I think it was meant to be an Ultra Cavern, and I think she just mismade it.
That would make sense considering she's about to get +3 upgrades. Adrenal Glands on the way here. Win behind Dark Shrine for State, but I don't know if that's gonna be able to bring him back into the game. But Scarlett once again building another infestation pit.
She's doing this on purpose. She's got to be. I don't understand. Unless her hotkeys are completely broken. It's just... Will she go for triple upgrades? The fabled triple upgrades? Pathogen Glands, Enduring Locust, and Neural Parasite? I mean, it's just...
It's bonkers, Rifkin. It is so meta. No, but it's definitely got to be a hotkey thing, because...
Maybe. It could be just Scarlett being cool. I don't know, but... Scarlett's got some massive creep spread on the map right now, by the way, which is fantastic for someone who's been kind of forced to deal with an all-in constantly and consistently all game.
There's the Ultraless Cavern. Finally.
Okay, so fourth time's the charm. Yeah, there you go. The investor. Okay, so absolutely misclick. And there we go, hotkeys are the problem. So it's actually, you know what? This seems like a joke, but this has bought State a lot of time. Can you imagine if the Ultras were popping out right now instead of just barely getting the cavern down?
It would sure make those sentries pretty useless across the field, but
Doom,
DTs are the field. Rift assaulting the 4th base. Now in at the 3rd base, there's no Spore Caller, and this is going to drop. Overseers are not going to morph in time. There's no transfusions available.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is that time State needed. This is the awkward thing where Dark Templar aren't being warped in defensively because he's able to be offensive. There's no Ultralisk at his door waiting and knocking. But oh god, okay, losing 2 bases like that for Scarlett, that kind of sucks, but she's still ahead in a big way.
In some regards. In other regards, I'm a little worried for her. Now, looking at the income, it has swung way into State's favor. He's got, you know, the infrastructure that he wants off of these gateways. His tech is looking good in terms of having the Templar tech. Moving up to Stargates, which is going to be intriguing because we do see Scarlett going for that Greater Spire tech. So in addition to the Ultralists that are now making their way on the field, she's going to potentially have Broodlords too.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the Fleet Beacon really quick, so this is probably going to be for earlier Tempest, but to me, that doesn't make sense. You usually make that reactionary, not precautionary, and if Scarlett invests in the Corruptors, gets too many Broodlords out, then those would be really great, but...
Well, State did get over there with a hallucinated Phoenix, so he saw the fact that there was, you know, the Hive down, and must know that Broodlords is definitely potential play here from Scarlett. But look at her supply, man. This has been severely hampered due to the fact that she's lost that 3rd and 4th bases, and now just getting the gas mining up at that 5th and 6th gases, and she really would optimally like to be on a greater gas economy than she has, and now just getting that 4th base up. But State's kind of playing this a little bit passive. He must be really looking to incorporate those Tempests in the army before he engages.
I think he just doesn't know what to go for right now, and that's the biggest problem. Going forward into the game, he's going for the air upgrades, he's investing in what he can. He's abandoned ground upgrades, which are kind of fine at this state. No pun intended, but as the Tempests come out, guys, it takes 3 shots from a Tempest to 1 shot of Broodlord. Of course, they do like bonus versus massive. It's like 80 without upgrades, and I think 85 with upgrades. I don't know the numbers, I'm not going to lie, not off the top of my head, but either way, it's a lot versus massive, and the Broodlords will not be a problem. I think the biggest threat is the fact that Scarlett has a little bit of everything. And because of this, the Ultras are going to run through, Broodlords are going to provide the damage, and of course the Lings and Infestors are going to be the greatest support in the universe. Catching an Observer with a Fungal, by the way, really cool move out of Scarlett.
Can I just mention her creep spread is 3/4 away across the map, and she's continuing to spread it into State's natural.
It's on top of a pylon that State established early in the game. I mean, it's... State's trying to make a 4th base, but there's no way this lasts. Creep's even spreading onto it.
It's going to get knocked down, and, you know, that supply deficit that Scarlett was facing earlier, now a non-factor in this game. She's going to try to get up her bank as she progresses forward, and we're going to see her eventually have to start trading some of the supply to move it into, you know, greater units. And, you know, Rifkin, we saw PvZ, we saw the late game scenarios. We're only 21 minutes in, and we're already seeing the Broodlord versus Tempest occur here.
Well, we do see them kind of shelling away from a distance, using the range to their advantage. They do have to, of course, avoid the Infestors to the greatest possibility, but a lot of Lings getting taken out through these force fields. One really key thing here, though, is Scarlett's made a lot of Corruptors, and I think this was in anticipation of Colossus, which will actually work really well versus these Tempests, but okay, big engagement going to come down. Broodlords are pushing the issue. Not a lot of Corruptors with this. Big Fungals. Doom, this is looking so scary for State, but he's holding on.
Remember what I said about freight trains earlier? Choo, she's coming forward. She's got transfusions available. These units are not going to die.
Oh,
and
he's
the Corruptors...
Well, this is actually the one problem. He was expecting lots of transfuses, and if you one-shot a Broodlord, you can't transfuse it. There's one Ultralisk left. A lot of Queens going down here, but Scarlett is going to not... She's not going to do it. She's going to lose everything.
Swung it so far into State's favor there, and wow, that was such a big swing, and now State... Maybe he's going to press forwards. Scarlett's going to kind of ride it all the way through, but where is his focal point going to be? He's going to be seen through our creep. Any move that he makes is going to be scouted up by Scarlett. Back at home, she's making 26 Lings, 4 Ultras added in here. And looking at the upgrades for both players, State getting that +1 attack weapons upgrades for his air may have been a crucial factor in that game, but here we go, pushing forward. Can the Lings and the Ultras hold it off here? A lot of Spine Crawlers are going to be able to defend for Scarlett, but they're not rooted just yet.
No, trying to do what they can. Gonna hold the ramp for now. The Ultras, though, If he loses that, yeah, if the last Overseer goes down, no detection here. No Spore Crawlers on the ground. And Scarlett forced to make even more Overseers. Nothing to deal with the Dark Templar that are just chasing after these Ultralists, hounding them with 55 damage a shot. The Immortals are cleaned up, but State might not have a lot here, but neither does Scarlett. And looks like the Tempest may have overpressed the issue, as they are actually going to get taken out by the Corrupt. No, actually won't be taken out by the Corrupt. There's one shot, yet another Broodlord. But here comes the Warp Prism, and finally State can get some reinforcements.
Yeah, that crazy creep had prevented any pylons from going down. State now just getting that Warp Prism in, going to be able to utilize his gateway infrastructure and pecking away at the main base. You know, do you go for the heart of the Zerg player here? Where do you really attack?
I think the economy is where he's really got to look at hitting. Scarlett doesn't have a lot. This base over on the left side of the map is the most important base to her right now. She doesn't have a big bank. Typically, you know, you're at 25 minutes of the game as a Zerg player, you've maxed out and you've got like 2K in the bank, but that's not the case.
All right, well, Rifkin gonna be blinking in here, very aggressive. A lot of lings are prepared though. These stalkers may have blunked down into their depths.
Blunk?
Oh yeah, it's a word.
Alright, well, finally looks like the Tempest might get cleaned up here, but no, even with the transfuses, the Corruptors are just barely not enough, and State will keep these Tempests alive.
Well, it kind of feels like State may have gone for the wrong side of the map, because on the west coast over here, Scarlett has been mining from these minerals easily. She has not taken advantage of that other extractor that she has available to her, but her third and fourth bases have essentially been untouched since they went down earlier. I'm a little shocked we haven't seen any DT run-bys over here, but State, the adrenaline must have been pumping in his veins. He must have felt like the win was so close to being his clutches, but still not out of it yet. But looking at the overall army supplies, 65 for Scarlett, 50 for State.
Yeah, she's looking really good right now. Or, sorry, rather, State is looking really good right now. Very rarely do you have a female that you have to refer to in the proper pronouns. But finally, Scarlett is going to break through here. The Tempest will finally go down. But I don't know if the Ultras can press the issue. The Archons aren't exactly a big threat, but it's a lot of the Stalkers behind them.
Well, if the Corruptors pull up, the Archons are going to
kill everything. Blink should be able to catch a couple more of these, and Scarlett suddenly in so much trouble, losing everything. But State, you know, look at the probe count on this third base. 55 out of 24, Doom. So he just
can expand.
He can't.
The creep spread is preventing that, and that's one of the crucial factors that makes Scarlett such an intimidating player to play against. There's no observers on the field, so he's not going to be able to clean that up anytime soon.
She may win this game with creep. Just due to the attrition that State's going to be faced with here shortly. Not able to max out, not able to get the money he needs. He is just, as a Protoss player, probably crying that he can't take a fourth right now. Look at the creep spread, though, inside the natural of his space. This is absurd.
It's overwhelming and it's stressful, and the anxiety's got to be hitting State at this point, but still has a clump of army together, still going to be able to, you know, make as much use as he can as long as these minerals at the third base remain, because the naturals mined out Rifkin, the main gone. It almost feels like this is going to be his last push, his last hope, and Scarlett, she's clinging to the creep, man. As long as she keeps it together from here, she's going to be fine, but the DTs over at the fourth base are attacking these drones with the pull. There's no Spore Crawlers down.
Now here comes the Overseer, though, and the problem for State is these Dark Templar, normally you throw them away. You send 3 in, you expect them to die, to do a little bit of damage before they do, but due to his incredibly low econ, he can't even afford to be doing that, and I question, like, why is he not getting an observer at this point, trying to clean up creep, trying to take a fourth base? He's just saying, like, I've got to win this game. I've got to end it here and now, and, oh, he's going to find a lot of the Corruptors turning into Broodlords, but he has no Tempest. This fight could be the last.
Stomach, yep. The Broodlords are going to get focused down by the Stalkers, but the Ultralists charging through, ripping the Archons to shred. The Stalkers will be not long for this world.
Good game! State. Oh, it's played that so well, but in the end, Scarlett proved her prowess and takes it 2-1 over State in the semifinals, and will go on in the finals to fight Apocalypse, who has been waiting for a long time for an opponent. Oh.
ZVT, man, I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. Scarlett, whew, she has been on the edge in so many games that we've casted today, but she just tips herself over so many times, just takes the dive to victory every single time.
Yeah.
Like the picture in like one of those squirrel suits, like the Red Bull squirrel suits that they go and they fly down the mountains with. Scarlett.
Well, the
In the
update.
Zergs, dude. No.
Sorry, I'm trying to interrupt, but it's up to you guys with what's going to go on. First off, we're going to play some ads after I'm done talking, but most importantly, State will now go on to play in IEM, in the loser's bracket. Scarlett, who's waiting in the winner's bracket of IEM, will probably finish up Red Bull here against Apocalypse first. So we will continue into that series of Apocalypse versus Scarlett, but you'll certainly get a chance to see her later, because I believe MLG will be casting the finals of the finals for IEM as well.